Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in for an emergency tap in. I know we went hot, heavy, and serious last night, but we had to go back to back. I mean, back to back. And today's topic, I believe, got these TikTok, Twitter, Instagram streets on fire. And you know, I rep the foundation, the heaviest. So I had to go ahead and tap in and give it to you live. Today's subject is foundational Black American men addressing the trauma, the disrespect, the emotional burden, and the problems we face. But we could talk about it on how we face it, but we're also going to talk about how do we do it in a respectful manner. If you are new here, thank you for tapping in with me. I'm your host, King Crowder. Comment, like, and subscribe to the channel. Share the live, share the live, share the live. Let me start it off hot and heavy, ladies and gentlemen. It's a podcast going on around the world of, if you do not know, Clifton Powell and a younger male. And the issue that was talked about is the subject of women, Black women in particular. When talking about this subject, feelings got involved, emotions ran high, energy felt strong, but the subject matter in stand that kept being talked about was Black women. You know, represent my sisters to the fullest. Love y'all dearly. You know that. Daughters, nieces, cousins, sisters, mamas, girlfriend, wives. I'm all for Black love. But the one thing that was very interesting to me on that show is that we have to debunk the narrative on a lot of things. What do you mean, King Carter, debunk the narrative? Let me start off hot. You do not trust Black women. You do not believe Black women. You don't have to believe all of them. You don't believe all Black men. You don't trust all Black men. You don't believe, listen, they don't deserve to be listened to. For you to be believable, trustworthy, loved, you have to earn those things, ladies and gentlemen. This narrative that I see any Black woman or Black man in the environment that I live in, and I must trust them, it's crazy. You don't trust everybody you meet. I give them respect because that's FBA culture. But to say I have to trust you, trust is something you build upon that is developed. We need to stop on this poster by saying publicly, believe all Black. No, you believe Black women that are believable. You love Black women that deserve it. You believe Black men who deserve it. You love Black men who deserve it. All of this notion is just because my ethnicity, my race, my gender, not my character, who I bring in this world, deserves anything is a flat out lie. So when you tell me, as we saw in that interview, that I must trust you based on you being a different gender than me, you're crazy. Oh, you do trust everybody you meet. Let's flip it. If you meet a man out here and he tells you to give you a certain amount of money, I'm supposed to trust you. Give me your kids. I'm supposed to trust you. We don't do that. So why then do we go on open platforms making the notion that we're supposed to believe you just because of your gender? Can we stop that, ladies and gentlemen? You are believable if you are a trustworthy person. We are not supposed to listen to all Black women. You will listen to, as a woman, who I think you should listen to, the ones that deserve it. But we don't listen to the ones that add value. We don't listen to the ones that are disrespectful. Every woman does not deserve the same amount of respect, love, and honor. Every man does not deserve the same level of respect, love, and honor. So this blanket notion that all people's opinions matter, they don't. Everybody deserves love. Some people just don't. So when I hear that openly, that a trust, a love, being heard, being believed is something blanket just on gender, it's flat out wrong. You get the respect that you earn. You get the love and trust that you earn. You get the credibility that you earn. How you show up in this world, how you choose to deal with people is how you will be respected and loved. So in that interview off the gate, hearing those brothers say that type of rhetoric craziness to me, I don't believe anyone just because you tell me to. Because Black women lie, Black men lie, Asian men lie. All people have lies to them. Until you are believable, you must show that you are credible. There are some Black women that you will listen to more than others. There are some brothers that have more credibility more than others. So birth off, when I heard that scenario of that interview, it really caught me by surprise. And the first thing that caught me by surprise is that there were so many brothers in that interview that were speaking about us, talking about us, but nobody was addressing our main problems. Let me qualify myself before I even go into this topic, because I believe that matters. I am a gentleman that speaks to all Black men, all ages, demographics, types, Gen Z, boomers, all of the above. I have over 700 Black men in the Houston, Texas area in BMBC. I have brothers from the hood, the streets, the projects. I work, I coach. I deal with Black men, foundational Black American men exclusively on a daily basis. I can say that I have a much more different approach because I deal with levels, economic status, mindsets, and all type of things when it comes to brothers. Shout out to D, baby. Hit the like button for sure. Thank you for tapping in with that. So let me keep cooking some more, y'all. I deal with brothers every day. I uplift them. I coach them up. I talk to them. So when I have these conversations with brothers and we have these type of talks, number one thing I want to know, y'all, like I saw in that interview immediately, referring to the Clifton Pound thing, when it's a woman issue, why do fellas feel like they need to speak on it? Abortion, women's rights, health care, fellas, stop speaking on it. That is a Black woman issue, and I'm leaning out about that. I have no opinion because that is something that exclusively they control and have access to. Just like when it comes to the creation, the development, the leadership, the learning, the growing, the development of young Black men, they do not have access or dialogue to it. So many men in that interview were maintained. The great Shahrazad Ali has a quote, ladies and gentlemen. Some of us are taught to maintain a child, not raise it. A lot of us were in homes where we were maintained: food, shelter, somewhere to eat, lights, and clothing. A lot of us were not raised. A lot of the men that you saw in that interview gave you a lot of things that showed me they were all maintained. I didn't hear any things about the development that Black boys need. I didn't hear about mate selection, how to choose a girlfriend, how to date. I didn't hear anything about gym and physical strength that you need to develop in. I didn't hear anything about how to defend yourself. I didn't hear anything about Black male books that should be reading and centered around their identity. I didn't hear anything about the history of a Black man that is unique to the foundation of this country. I didn't hear anything about the investments it takes to become a productive, successful, and learn how to deal with the racism that we deal with on a daily basis for the Black man. I didn't hear any podcasts that we should be listening to. All I heard was bow down. All I heard was woman leadership. We should listen. What the hell? What do you mean we should listen? We need to understand that Black males deserve to be taught differently. All those Black men on screen that was talking and giving their perspective and saying a whole lot of things, none of y'all was speaking to the development of FBA men. A man is not a man until he is 30 years old. We don't understand that there's multiple levels of tiers for you to become a man. So when you make this rhetoric about men should be accountable, how can you be accountable when you're not even a man yet? We're not talking about the development piece. We're not talking about the educational piece. We're not talking about the traveling piece. We're not talking about the isolation piece. We're just talking about men bad. Black men bad. Black men do wrong. You are always bad. Not that it's a two-way street. Not that mate selection and family orientation should be something of the solution that we all focus on. I watched that whole entire interview and not once did I hear Black families being brought up. You hear woman agenda, but you don't hear families. You don't hear the position of Black children. You don't hear anybody saying right now, what's the state of the union for Black children? That's the priority, in my opinion. Mate, relationships, families, all of that should have been written into, we got to address that emotional issue. Therapy will not cure what you do not address. Men have therapy differently. Men handle conflict differently. Men talk about ways to heal differently. And the one thing I learned about that was differently immediately as I watched that interview, and this is just me talking. I don't know the background exclusively of the other gentleman, but I know when Clifton Powell, an elder, was speaking, not once did they say, yes, sir. Not once did they say, thank you, sir. Not once was he respected as the elder in the room. And as a Black American male grown up in the foundation, that is something that is embedded in you. It is embedded in you to be respectful of your elders. It is embedded in you to be mannerable to your elders. I didn't say be submissive. I didn't say not ask questions. I said to respect your elders, to say yes, sir, to allow that man to get the floor when he's talking, not to get hostile. You don't get no cool points for yelling at an elderly man, claiming that you might put your hands on him. You don't get no cool points being disrespectful and saying where you from. You don't get no cool points for that. You don't. You don't get no cool points for doing any of that type of stuff, man. And I want you to see it. Remember, when you watch things, ladies and gentlemen, you watch it for the vocal, you watch it for the variety, and you also watch to see in real time the body language. This is the Golden Ground interview. If you haven't seen it, heard across the world, Clifton Powell is an elderly gentleman, 60-something years old, having a passionate discussion among other brothers. Remember, y'all, in the men world, you are judged by your accomplishments, your emotional intelligence, and how do you handle conflict. I want to break it down piece by piece so you can hear the subject.
But go ahead.
The one thing that I just want to talk about in Luke, make sure I say the name right, pop this part out. Okay. What Luke brought up was like accountability. Like, yes, we can talk about, what our families did to us.
I want to know, how can you be accountable of other men? How can I be accountable speaking on what other men choose to do in this world? We don't ask women to show up and do the same. This is a disingenuous question, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, this brother's going in saying, I have to be accountable for Raekwon down the street. Not that I know Raekwon, but I, as a Black man, am responsible for every single crash out, dummy, and things that do things in this country. Crazy.
All that, but eventually, and I know why people try and say this, and I really don't like that, but eventually comes a point where you have to decide, how do I want to live my life? I haven't talked to my daddy in 6 years. I don't give a f.
That ain't something to be proud of right there, bro. As a Black American man, to say you don't talk to your parent in a long amount of time, I'm not saying that you should. I don't know your story or your legacy, but I'm saying as a healthy person, remember, nobody will ever be healed, but you're going to be as healthy as you possibly can. That ain't a flex, bro. Your father's the first resemblance of who you are as a man, good, bad, or indifferent. That's your first resemblance. And to go on a national TV interview and say, I ain't talked to him in 6 years and say it like it was a flex. Respect is always given, brother. Remember, I'm not saying ultimate respect, but I'm saying respect is given to anybody. Anybody. I completely disagree with you. Respect is given to anybody. Trust is earned.
Fuck about what my family has gone through. I know where I will go. So it's like, you can only say that for so long. Black women are tired. And, kind of like.
We don't care if they're tired, brother. Black men are tired. Why are you so empathetic towards the other person? Why are you so hostile? Do y'all not feel a change in energy? I do.
putting onto them like, hey, like, you didn't do this entirely, because everybody in here, several people have talked about, like, you know, going to counseling. Have that upon yourself. Stop waiting for a woman to tell you what you need to do. Take that upon yourself.
Let me address that real quickly. For me, I didn't know fucking how to
Can I say one more thing? No, I have to say this, because another thing that happens is, too, you live your life for so long, and I'm not meaning no disrespect by this.
All right, just say it, bro.
But when you hit your 60s and your 70s, I want to be right.
Okay, but let me...
I want to live my life right. I want someone...
So when you get older age and you learn that you made mistakes around the way, it's wrong if you unlearn what you did. I'm not justifying all what parents are saying, but I want you to catch that for a second. He is saying, and I quote, when you get to an elder age, you want to be right. So I want to right my wrongs. That's wrong. Maybe I should keep going the same direction that's bad. Is that what you're saying the solution is? As a man in a man world, you have to be solution-based. That gentleman's energy, that gentleman's tenacity, focus points, how he responded, let me know something else was there. Just my opinion.
To take care of me and protect me. And that's what a lot of women have issues with.
I'm living it right the fuck now.
As I said, I said 60s.
Did you catch that? Did you catch it? Let me play it back right quick. Catch it.
I said 60s.
Did you catch that? Let me let it play.
And 70s.
Let me say this.
Y'all overtalk me.
I'm gonna fucking overtalk you because you're fucking
but you're not gonna disrespect
me. You don't know what the fuck you talking about.
I am.
I do. Love it.
I do.
You don't know what the fuck you talking about.
Oh, I do. I do.
You don't know it, nigga.
Key word, and no disrespect, y'all, to a men that are raised and think that saying words towards men, you can tell the emotional disdain he has for men. There's no reason for you to yell, elevate your voice, talk, and respond to a gentleman that was trying to let you speak. Your immediate reaction was to elevate. Remember, when you elevate your voice, that's a sign of a threat to a man. If you don't know, fellas, or you weren't raised around men or masculine environments, that's a threat. That is a threat to me. You want to do something to me. And unless you're ready to shake the room, have a fair one, put your hands up, throw a square, I would advise you to watch your tone. Women can have a vocabulary scrimmage and elevate their voice and nothing happens. In the man world, you elevate your voice, what's happening? That's what that means.
You don't know what the fuck it is. I'm living. You can't tell me what the fuck I'm living, nigga. I'm living it right now. You cannot fix no shit that you don't even know what's happening.
I think there's a
I completely agree with him. Through age comes understanding. Not saying he's right how he went about it, but what I am saying is that him expressing himself, saying he had to learn what he had to do as he aged. How else do most men learn?
Understanding.
No, but he's generalized. You can't. No, listen, bro. Let me stop. This is what it is. Let's get to the truth of this shit. You can't fix no shit unless you meet somebody who is on another level to help you elevate to understand. I'm not indicting anybody. I'm telling you what the shit is. You can't fix some shit that you don't know about, bro.
Yeah.
You can't. And then you get there at 69 or 70 and say, I thought I was being loved all the time. That's what our parents have gone through, and that's why we all so fucked up right now.
You asked, how do we love black women? Yeah. That's right here. Trust black women and listen to black women because they know more than we do.
I completely disagree. You don't trust and listen to anything. That narrative that they're pushing is insane to me. The ones that need to be listening to, yes. But we need to stop saying a blanket statement that everybody need to trust, believe, deserve a listening ear. That is not true. That's not true. And I believe that main part of the interview, if they do not know this, will turn off half of the men. It will. You have to vet now because we live in an environment that is different. If you talk to a Gen Z brother, he ain't listening to none of this. Millennial man too. Gen Z, Gen Alpha, they think completely differently. The whole notion that we grew up to, that we thought it was a believability factor, is not the same. And when we talking about these things, you got to understand that respect, love, energy is all reflective. And I got something else I want to say here, y'all. And I know I'm going to get in trouble for this. Shout out to the LGBT community out here. Shout out to y'all. These gentlemen are part of that community. Nothing wrong with it, right? When do gay male relationships translate and are the same to straight male relationships? Follow me. Your relationship with women is completely different than mine will ever be. I cannot say in your face, I cannot tell you how a LGBT relationship is supposed to be. I know I'm out my depth. I'm not going to try to give you advice. I'm going to listen. I'm going to be respectful. I'm going to be empathetic. But to tell you I know the dynamics of it, I will be a fool. How arrogant do I have to be to say this relationship is supposed to be like this and I think it's supposed to go like that? I'm out of my depth with that. I can only speak about relationships that I am involved in, been a participant in, or actively dealing with. Why do we have people from different communities telling straight males how to interact with women that they have no idea how to interact with in that time? You are giving me an outside perspective. You are giving me a perspective on how you deal with women and how they choose to appear in front of you. If you are not a male that is a one-to-one relationship, you don't understand. You have never crossed that threshold. You have never dealt with that type of energy and style before. So your limitation is limited. I find it very, can I say, arrogant to try to guide someone on this path with it. The light-skinned brother with the brown shirt, look good, by the way. Nice chain, glasses, but look good. Got on the live, got on the interview and said, and I quote, "Black women are tired of having to deal with the same type of men. I have friends that make a certain amount of money and they are tired of dealing with this type of energy." Oh, my mindset goes to this. Nothing with money correlates with relationships. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, the relationship muscle, the marriage muscle, the strength muscles are all different parts. You could be phenomenal professionally. You could be phenomenal in how you handle your personal relationships. But when it comes to intimacy or relationship that you have to deal with a person, you could be terrible at it. I could make $1 million a year and be a trash relationship partner. Why do we think one skill set translates when it doesn't? Relationship muscles, relationship skill sets are only developed through sets, through workouts, through muscles, through constant pressure, through experiencing it. If you have never had those long-term relationship muscles, you don't have any. And for a brother to be around somebody else and hear them say that and not give them the same accountability, you are doing them a disservice. Just like they are doing you a disservice to try to elaborate and explain to you how they feel and honestly have an emotional attachment to how Black men show up in emotional relationships. What are you saying now, this King Crowder? You're talking a long time. What I am saying is that, brothers, you are out of your depth. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. Your advice is null and void. No foundational Black American male will listen to you because you sound biased. Every male that's in this country right now that's on the dating scene always tells me the same thing. It's transactional. It's about money. It's about this. I get disrespected. I don't get the amount of respect that I want. Remember, women want unconditional love. Men need unconditional respect. If you ask the woman, how do you unconditionally respect your man? And they can't name it, that means you don't love him. But when we having these conversations, y'all fellas don't never touch on that. We hear one-sided arguments. And all I heard from this was black men are wrong. We have our flaws, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to be arrogant enough to say that. We have our issues. We have our problems. We have things that you want to hear and listen to. Insane, brother. Like you said, they insane to you, brother. I agree. But they don't understand, or nor do we have a discourse that we got to push back on these things. What I am here to do, y'all, is just to provide the balance and the context. I represent the Foundation brothers. I love my dogs. I represent y'all, and I am not afraid to have an uncomfortable conversation about what we're talking about. But this interview did a terrible job representing that. We love our sisters, man. There is no such thing as brothers that don't love black women, man. Get up out of here. Not only do most of us love us, they marry us, they believe in us, and they support us. And as I've seen brothers on that round table, the number one thing I want to ask to all of them, if you believe black women, why you ain't marrying one? Don't tell me you believe black women, you support black women if you ain't got one lady that you building with. Qualifications are null and void, and I'm not Umar. Gifts. I'm not Umar. But what I am saying is I understand that notion that he got at. Don't give me the fairy tale likeness that you are like this, but you ain't living it. Like the Migos said, you got to walk it like you talk it. You got to walk it like you talk it. And if you're not walking that line, if you're not living your lyrics, if you're not on the field, on that pavement, getting it in, don't lecture me. Don't tell me what black man and what brothers should be going through and what you should be doing, because you don't know. First-hand research means in the field. I do first-hand research every day. Third-hand research means you read from a source that they said this, they said that. If you do not have first-hand research from all black American men, from age gap, from demographics, you don't know what the hell they're talking about. And to encapsulate all this interview, I want to really say this home for me. FBA men do not talk to our elders disrespectfully. The way you piped up, the way you got elevated, the way you were serious, the way you punched your chest up on a 70-year-old black man, you don't get no respect for that, bro. Let me say it again. You get no respect for going on an interview live and yelling at an older black man. I won't respect anybody that's yelling at one of our elders because we respect our elders. We love our elders. We uplift our elders. Not saying that we ain't got problems, y'all, because we do. But don't make it seem like it's a culture of the foundational, disrespecting where we come from. We understand our elders push back. We understand our elders ask tough conversations. We understand that some of our elders can be challenging to deal with, and I accept it. But to raise your voice, to curse, to swear, to be disrespectful to our elders, I can't respect that, man. And I don't think we need less masculinity. I believe we need more of it. I believe we do. What God gave you, like, thanks, brother. Man, you got to stand on it. All that, we don't need more masculinity. We need more of it, man. And this is a phenomenal quick set, man, that Michael J. White said he saw early on. Take a listen, fellas.
We're not making men anymore.
Not a lot of them.
No.
When they are, they stand out.
Yeah, that's why it's like a lot of times in these movies, if you have an alpha male, a lot of times that American alpha male is being played by an Australian or somebody from
Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, it's so it's like it's very rarely an American.
No.
It's like such a trip, man.
Well, masculinity is demonized here for some strange reason over the last couple of decades.
Bro, I saw the beginning of a lot of it because, like I said, I was a school teacher. Mm-hmm. And I was right on the forefront seeing like everybody gets a trophy, mm-hmm. these kids, they're.
And he is absolutely right, y'all. Shout out to Michael J. White. We don't need more. We don't need less masculinity. We need more. We need more brothers willing to get married, to have families. The number one problems that the foundation has personally is we don't have an emphasis on family. Throughout that whole conversation at that round table when Brother Clifton was talking, nobody talked about the importance of both Black women and Black men talking about mate selection. I hear about degrees. I hear about careers. I hear about jobs. I hear all that other bull jive. I did not hear one time anybody speak on the importance of safety. When they say protection, that means putting your life on the line. When they say provision, always ask what type of provision. Is it just money? Is it structure? Is it leadership? Is it organization? Is it accountability? What provision are we talking about? Because if we're going on one type of provision that we always emphasize, we miss over the others. So if we want to have that conversation on how to address men with their traumas, we got to understand the breakdown of men. We got to have an open conversation about how all of us are different, and that's fine. How all of us are allowed to live in our own purpose, our own journey. But the one thing we are not allowed to do is dull your light just to make someone else feel comfortable. I don't think, he ain't got no big mama shot. I got a big mama. I got all of the above. But what I'm saying, y'all, is that when I heard these conversations, ladies and gentlemen, ladies want men that are masculine, that are getting things done. Where we are going right now, where we got equality, it is not working. And if we're going to address the trauma, we have to start with addressing the teaching. We are teaching, especially the foundational Black American boys, wrong. We're not teaching history, support, emotional intelligence. It's okay to get dirty, get your hands muddy. We're not teaching that. We're teaching equality. We're teaching worry about someone else besides your feelings. We're not teaching the steps that will cultivate and develop a productive Black man. Because when you build those foundational steps, the tree will be stronger. What we're having a conversation about is everybody else. And the main subject we need to talk about is our children, is our boys specifically. Stronger Black males, stronger Black families. Not saying that the women don't deserve respect, because guess what? Popular in context belief, all women do not deserve respect. All women do not deserve to be listened to, just like all men do not deserve to be listened to. You have to qualify, you have to earn, you have to show, you have to produce, you have to live a life that shows that we should listen to you. And like I said earlier, man, I understand the trauma that we go through, y'all. The great Shahrazad Ali coined the phrase in her book, Letters to a Black Man and a Black Woman. A lot of us are maintained and not raised. We have to address that issue. If you were raised under woman leadership without your father, you were maintained. If you were raised and you did not understand why your parents went the way they went, you were maintained. If you were raised in if you were not raised in an environment where you are not allowed to express yourself, you were maintained. If you were raised in an environment where you don't understand why things went this way, you were maintained. Because being raised means emotional development, accountability, security, learning why to do something, boundaries, having both sides of your being developed. You have a feminine and a masculine energy. Both of them have to grow at the same time, y'all. Not just one. We keep saying that way we grew up, that we had to at the time due to the issues of mass incarceration. I know our history. But to say that has to be the norm, to say the next generation has to do the same thing that we had to go through, I push back on that. Our focus needs to be said, instead of about a gender, what the preference is. It has to be focused on the family. In a family unit, we need to have something that is more stronger. Because all these conversations, man, is literally about that same phrase. Who was maintained and who was being raised. There's a second part of this interview that hurt me and made me cringe, but I believe it is very important to watch. Fair use, YouTube. Fair use.
Power, and it's from the legacy of the Black Power movement. And I don't think you can get any closer to power than the person who birthed it.
Right.
Yes. The Black.
You can't get any closer to power than making the right decision on setting your family up to a better legacy. The person that birthed it is an excellent thing, but the family using it, cultivating it, is the most power, not the one that gives the birth. The birth is the point of when life is produced. It's not how it was raised. Remember, everybody's conversations and subject is focused on how we are maintained. We need to get past the maintain stage and switch to how we thrive phase. Maintaining is good, right, y'all? That is something, the ground level, a base level that I all want us to be at. But I want us to push past the maintain, and I want us to understand how we continue to cultivate. Oh, the other guy. Oh, I'm sorry, Tanika Mitchell. For sure. I apologize. Shout out to you. Shout out to the sister. But as we were talking about more, y'all want y'all to pay attention to more.
Black woman, right?
Yes.
A lot of the time, it's Black men that stand in the way of it, right? That get in the way of, what we're supposed to be empowering, what we're supposed to be collaborating with. And so when we're thinking about things like, Sister Song is steeped in reproductive justice. And when we talk about reproductive justice,
I don't think we need to be having these conversations as men, y'all. It's just me. I believe all of these conversations should be led, cultivated, discussed, and having a discourse, and women make the decision on it, not men. When I hear fellas talking about reproductive health, I don't believe we're supposed to be in this space. Just like women are not supposed to be in the men validating and the men trauma space. I believe we have the spaces that we're supposed to be in, and mutually we should respect what they feel. I don't think we should be in charge of that. That's just my humble opinion. I think I'm going to continue to watch, but I think men that speak on women-related issues, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't.
It's the human right for bodily autonomy. Now, here's the thing. I get into all the academic terms and then I get confused. So we're going to get into it for real about what this means to us, what the human right to bodily autonomy, the human right to have kids, to not have kids, to parent kids in a healthy environment, to set up that environment, and what goes into that actually means to us. And I want to make sure that, the way we're talking about it, other people can understand it, because I know for a fact, if people came to me however many years ago and was like, hey, what you think about reproductive justice? I would have a very confused look on my face. And I'm like, I don't know exactly what that means and how we engage with it. But everybody here comes from a different perspective, a different life, different experiences. And we want to bring that to this conversation. So I know that there's no way to get there without the empowerment of Black women and centering Black women in that power talk and that.
The best way to center Black women is allow Black women to speak on this related issue to talk about it. I agree with you on that, man. Just a lot of bloviate. I just don't get it why we're in that space talking about it. That's a Black woman issue, and I believe they deserve that right to talk about it exclusively for them. Just like we have that right to discuss exclusively with us, our problems and issues.
Our struggle and that power strategy and that movement and our behavior. And what in y'all's eyes does that mean to you? Like, from y'all's experience, what's your...
Let me pause it right there, y'all. Let me say something else. No man did this guy's steady on liberal ideology. That's a fact. Shout out to you on that. So let me give you a round of applause on that. This is the type of self that makes believe inclusive and fully responsible for rational dynamics. Women are not having these conversations, showcasing this and trust Black men. Fendi fact D. Fendi. I think the main point for me, y'all, is all this is disingenuous. All of you brothers are having this conversation and we're saying it's inclusive. We're talking about these things. But the point of brothers getting in a round table discussion to me would be to how to highlight, enhance, and build something for Black American children. The foundation of Black American boys should be the priority, not centering women. You don't center anyone else inside of your life. You center God. You center your purpose. You center your family. You do not center your partner. If you center your partner, fellas, I want you to pay attention to me. If you center your lady, you make her the center of your world instead of going out here being a productive male, she will not like you. Every lady will say to you in your face, they would much rather you center your purpose, center your focus. Do not center anybody like that. You are supposed to be driven, accomplishment, producing, trying to do things. You are giving bad information, bro. I don't want to teach to no young Black American man out here that it is smart to center a woman. It's not. It is smart to center your purpose, your goals, your dedication, your fitness, your spirituality, those type of components. You don't center anyone else, not even your children. I didn't say make them a priority, but center them in your life when you are raising them to leave is foolish. Of course you want to be productive. Of course you want to be active. Of course you want to be the best parent you are supposed to be. But you have to center everything that is about you on your path called journey of life. These brothers got on a live interview, live, gave opinions that they gave about, tried to shame other Black men, tried to discourage other Black men, tried to say disrespectful to other things to other Black men. But the one thing they didn't address early on was how we need to uplift and love each other. You know the main problem I notice with most brothers is many of us are afraid to say, hey, bro, you fly today. Hey, bro, I really like what you're doing. I love it. Hey, bro, I see your emotion you got going on. I'm supporting you, dog. Hey, bro, I love that outfit. I love what you're doing with your family. That's awesome to me, bro. If you really want to deal with that trauma, speak life into them. I make it my purpose to, if I see a younger Black male that's selling, serving, anything that he's trying to do productive, even if I don't need it, I try to support him. It ain't got to be a big support. Candy, water, whatever it is. If I can't give a lot, I give words of encouragement. The first step we got to understand is that how you speak to yourself and your thoughts will translate outwardly. Every day that a Black American boy, the foundation is raised in this country, he is targeted psychologically, emotionally. You ain't good enough. Your daddy wouldn't. You ain't. You ain't learned nothing. If they do not have a productive and soft upbringing mentally, they will internalize it. Do you know how many Black males I meet with the lack of self-confidence? Because they're being maintained. No one tells you that the path or journey to become a man is much longer than it is a young lady. No one will ever tell you that it's easier to raise girls than it is boys. It's easier to raise boys. No, it's not. Because boys take longer. They are internal with the discomfort, not outwardly. Young girls are going to express themselves outwardly with the angle. Young men are just going to distance themselves. Young men require more help and assistance to get on their path of journey. Young girls don't. You can marry a young girl off at 21 and she'll be straight. A young man is not a man until he hits the age of 30. The lights don't cut on. The focus doesn't hit right. Your dedication to figuring out what you want to go to. Your career path is going to change. You're going to get fired. You're going to get broken up with. Your girl's going to cheat on you. Multiple things are going to happen to you before you hit that point of adulthood where the ease is out. We're not talking about that, though. We're not preparing the man for that. We're not preparing them for the disrespect along the way. We're not talking about the racial microaggressions they're going to feel, you know what I'm trying to say, right? Excuse me, I'm getting tongue-tied, that they're going to experience. We're not preparing them for that. We're not talking about the new landscape of dating. We're not talking about how now, in relationship for Gen Z, millennials, and Gen Alpha men, the dating landscape has changed. We're not talking about how we have a marriage rate, millennials on down, of 10%. We don't talk about how most Black American children do not meet certain men they should be going down with. We're not talking about those things. We're talking about superficial exterior labels that have nothing to do with solution based. You want to solve this Black trauma problem? Start by helping your brother. Start by giving knowledge. Start by giving love. Start by extending your hand and offering to help. Not overextending, but giving an uplifting word. Start by being there to support without expecting nothing. From being raised in a small town to being in a big city, the one thing that big city Black American men have that we do not talk about is the lack of trust for each other. If you ever heard my story, I always like to say it. The first year of starting BMBC, I went out with about 40 brothers and went to brunch, right? Went to brunch. All of us ordered on the menu. Cheap place, right? $10 breakfast. You know what I'm saying, right? The waiter comes to me and says, hey, I can cut you a deal if you all put it on one check, pay the gratuity. The bill was about $360, right? FBA Black men. I didn't think nothing of it. Put it on one check, y'all. Y'all cash at me. The amount of men that were terrified to spend money and trust money with each other was shocking to me. The amount of people that were like, no, don't do that, man. Oh, no, bro. You gonna put your money on that? You trust other Black men? Yeah, $300. Man, I wouldn't do that. It shocked me. Coming from my town that I came from, there's always been a love of mutual love and respect with my brothers. I don't even think to question it. And something as trivial as $300 didn't stumble me. Oh, it's little money, man. If you don't pay me back, I ain't lost a friend, you lost me. It was a way for me to do that to make the process easier. Not only did I get my money back in full, I almost got double the amount. And you know what I learned through that experience right there? During the Great Migration movement, there were two Black man waves that we never discussed. The first was the Black male that stayed, my family, that stayed in the South, that stayed in the racist towns, that did not have the money to migrate. The amount of bravery that you had to fight through to own your land, keep your property, and go through what you had to go through. Then there was the other one who had to go through another form of bravery inside of a new city that was unknown to work at a plant, a factory, and other unknown places. We have done a good job, not great, a good job highlighting the Black American males that were affected during the Great Migration. But what we have not done on the other side is highlight those that stayed in those towns. I'm one. I'm the product of one of a Black American male that stayed in his original freedom town. And as the product of one that stayed in this town that recently left less than 5 years ago, migrated out to the bigger cities that associate with the kind of people that I grew up with, I learned immediately that the trust factor is different. And the trust factor is different because of previous things that have happened in our lifetime. We know about the crack epidemic. We know about the scamming and all that else. But what I learned was the sense of community, love, trust is not there. Once you move from the Great Migration movement, you were more isolated. That feeling of where your mama from, where your daddy stay, where you go to school, where was your mama raised? Those questions that I normally got are normal. I noticed when you're in a city like Houston and you ask those questions, people look at you kind of crazy. They ask you, why are you pressing me like that? When you actually vet your sources, if you offer me anything, I'm going to read it. When you give me a reference, I'm going to call it. When you give me anything, I will check behind you. It is not that I don't trust you. I'm going to check behind you because I was raised. Born in a freedom town in the country, you were taught to do your due diligence. And that, to me, ladies and gentlemen, is the traumatic difference that most Black American kids do not grow up with. We're not taught in the major cities to be well-rounded. We're not taught how to defend yourself. We're not taught how to cut wood. We're not taught how to change. We're not taught how to be a universal man. We're not taught the importance of mate selection, family dynamics, and selecting. We're not taught that. That is where the emotional, that disrespect, and how we heal component comes from. How do we heal, King Crowder? You're going over everything. guys are in the pause era. You stupid. I rock with you, girl. You funny as crap, man. Let me go ahead and give you that. And as we continue to grind on that, y'all, how do we heal, King Crowder? Number one, man need to own, dictate, control, and say what a male-centered conversation is about. I don't want to into a male conversation talking about what Black women need and what they do. I don't care about your feelings. I care about your thoughts. I care about how you're going to heal and how you'll get the respect with yourself. If we're going to talk about how do we move forward as Black American men, we have to acknowledge the differences. We have to acknowledge where we are in society. We have to acknowledge the current state of everything. The first step in reconciliation is to have the conflict. We must have them issues about who can speak for us. We must have those battles about who can talk for us. And after we address it, we put everything on the table, then we can build. Men operate through a place of brutal force early. After the force has happened, then we listen. And remember, we need to listen to the youth's idea, not the elderly. We need to learn what they need, not what I need. Once we reinvest our resources, once we replant our seeds, that's where we start. Once we develop a more of a stronger foundation and we focused on more on how they are raised with love, raised with understanding, raised with transparency, raised with things that will help them out as they go into their next life family, then we will start the healing process. And remember, being healthy as you possibly can is the goal. You will never, ever be 100% healthy. But what you can do is be 100% the best version of your healthy self, not healed. You will never be healed and whole like you once were before life changed you. Shout out to D, baby. What you strive to do is to be the best version of yourself in this phase of life. And being the best version of yourself in this phase of life is to acknowledge your shortcomings, is to acknowledge what you struggle with, and it is to make adjustments when it is needed. The trauma that we face, I'm not saying it's okay, but what I'm saying, it is there. We have to learn how to manage it, how to cultivate around it, how to talk through it, and most importantly, we have to invest in our young men so they know what to follow and what to go through. We must start with the history. We must emphasize ethnic pride. We must emphasize building a culture of what you're supposed to work on to keep themselves busy and not seeking on partnership early on, because they will continue to get your feelings hurt. And after we prioritize purpose, planning, and structure, then we go into the mate selection, the going into the mind, the new body. That is how we heal from our traumatic moments. Not centering women, not Black women lives matter. No, focus on you first, King. And when you focus on you first and you get you right, then you can go inside this world and possibly, honorably, work hard to get a partner to go through this path of life with. But like I said earlier in this podcast, I don't trust Black women. I don't trust Black women. I don't trust Black men. I don't think all Black men deserve to be heard. I don't think all Black women deserve to be heard. It is your responsibility to earn to be heard. It is your responsibility to earn trust. What can we learn from tonight's podcast, King Crowder? I want you to learn that trauma is a buzzword, but building and working past it is the best way we could be. Clifton Powell is an elderly man who tried his best. He wasn't perfect, but I loved how he expressed the love for his lady and how he overcame it. That is the place that I want all of the foundational Black American men to get into. And it may take time. It may take patience, but give yourself the grace and do not judge yourself as harshly, and make sure you learn from your mistakes. Trust me, the ladies will always be there. The dating will always be there. The money will always be there. The schooling will always be there. But you, your mental health, your wealth, your body, your effort, your energy, your love, your compassion, you only get one chance in life to experience and development. And remember, the worst thing a man could ever do is have a bad partner or relationship. Bad relationships have killed more man's confidence and egos than any amount of things that's ever been discussed. So now we're moving forward. We heal, we work, and we stay on code with our certain conversations. I want to thank everybody for tapping in with me as we went back to back. Hey, as we went back to back. I had to tap in for another edition of Live on Thursday. My first time ever doing a Thursday, y'all. But this subject has been so viral on my TL, I needed to give my opinion about it. The next time you will hear from me, because I'm going to try to enjoy my busy weekend, is live on Sunday. I will have more of my political discourse topics. I will have something serious and organized that we normally talk about. I want to thank all my people that tapped in with me tonight. Comment, like, share the live. Tell me where you're from. Check on your people. Call and check on your strong friends. As we close tonight's evening, I hope you learn that Black men are in the process of healing. I hope you learn that just like you have your struggles, most brothers experience and go through the same thing. What I want you to take away from me, thank you, love. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I wanted to go hard on it. Is that I wanted to express and talk about why this is important, man. Hopefully, other people get the meaning of why I went live tonight. Hopefully, they really, really understand why it's important. I do. Make sure, share the information, share the love. Thank you. I didn't get to go on my man. Hold on, let me go ahead and start it out the live, y'all. I actually got another cash app to one of my people. Man, listen, I don't think his name. I don't want to get it wrong, but hold on. Let me look at the name. $1 or Cooper name. I'm sorry, brother. Thank you. Also, shout out to the other subscriber that hit my registry, man. I appreciate you. Baby Crowder is on the way for my loyal subscriber Crowder game, along with trading and other things that we got going on. I will be having more details to you about most of the other things we got going on. Make sure you stay in tune for this week. Hey, call your mama, call your daddy, call your brother, call your uncle, call your cousins, call all the Black man in your family. Until next time, love you.